So, let's talk about what's going on lately with this whole. Let's combine both the flu and COVID into Floran or whatever it's called. Let's talk about this for example, for a moment, guys, because I'm going to be totally honest with you. And again, I know I repeat this a lot, or I say this a lot, I should say. This is coming from somebody that's already gotten the vaccine, has already gotten the booster, and everything. Twice on the vaccine. Booster, of course, being the third vaccine, whatever. And now we have, certain states deciding that they're going to extend indoor mask mandates for another month. We have certain countries for at least 2 weeks shutting down the theaters and other places because of what's going on. And let's be honest, we all know what's happening. We all know what's going on, all right? We know right now that in the next 2 weeks, things are going to get back to normal. In other words, this is the last week, if not maybe next week, that Christmas vacation, winter vacation, whatever you want to call it, comes to an end. And then, lo and behold, after Martin Luther King Day, and I say that with all due respect, after a very respectful holiday in Martin Luther King Day, lo and behold, guess what? A lot of places are reopening. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because everybody's going to be away from each other. Everybody's going to go back to their normal lives. I mean, you're not fooling anybody. The media, the CDC, WHO, the federal, state governments, they're not fooling anybody. We all know what's going on. We see it with our own eyes. We hear it with our own ears. I mean, why do you think I come on here and when I talk about certain things, I'm always saying, this is what they should say. This is what the media should say. This is what the CDC, when they come out and do their little things, should say. Or WHO or whatever. Instead of just trying to fear Mongol people, just like JD puts it, JD from NY206, who thankfully, has been vaccinated and boosted, but also doesn't buy into this crap. Instead of trying to put fear into people, they should just come out and say, before we start our discussions on things like, if you're the news, if you're CBS, you're ABC, you're Fox, whatever, you should just come out and say, before we talk about today's news, we recommend, if not, highly hope and ask of all of you, if not strongly recommend, that those of you that are not vaccinated or not yet got your booster, please go out and do so, because the more that do this, even by one shot, the closer we get out of this thing. That's all they have to say. Then they could just move on to the other news items. End of story. But they don't do that. They don't do that because they know there are people out there that buy into what they say. They buy into what they say. To them, people that buy into what they say, this is what they view people that buy into that. Oh no. It's gotten worse. I should go get a shot. I'm scared. That's how they view people. And look, I'm not saying I'm not saying people don't have a right to be worried. We've been here, we've been there once, we've come close a second time, there's a good chance third time's a charm, or whatever the case may be. But that's not going to happen. It's all about timing, folks. It's all about timing. End of discussion. It's all about timing. Let me put it to you like this. I found out today that somebody at one of the school districts associated with the preschools, if you will, the Head Starts in the area, not the one where my mom lives or anything, or works, I should say, not the one where my mom works, all right, but mainly other areas, other institutes. We'll put it that way. I heard, basically, that a substitute teacher had come in to one of those institutions to work this past week, to fill in for one teacher that wasn't there. And this substitute ended up having COVID. She had caught it, I guess, through vacation or whatever, and she brought it with her. So what did they have to do? They had to shut down that institution's site, if you will, the site of that institution, of learning, if you will. They had to shut that down, and the students cannot be allowed back until the 17th, which is weird, seeing as though the 17th, ladies and gentlemen, is a Friday, from what I understand. Or is it a Friday? Hold on, let me check. Let me check, guys. Just out of curiosity, let me check. But because tomorrow's the 7th, right? Tomorrow's the 7th, the 14th. Okay, the 14th, not the 17th, but the 17th is the holiday, right? So basically, the students are not allowed back to the 14th, the last day before a 3-day holiday. Gee, how ironic is the timing for the students to be gone, and yet the teachers that are vaccinated and boosted, from what I've heard, are allowed to work. Yes, it allows them to catch up on some of the work that they wouldn't be able to catch up on unless they did it at home. That's great. That's a positive. But gee, isn't the timing kind of weird? Isn't it kind of weird that they can come back on the Friday before the holiday, and then, a holiday, basically, I should say, that everybody is off on, and then be back again on a Tuesday? Gee, isn't that kind of ironic? I think it is. I think it's ironic. And this is why, these media outlets, these local and state and federal governments, the CDC and whoever, when they come out and say, oh, well, this could happen, and I recommend they should just say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep, like Falsey. Falsey, for example. Falsey is losing credibility day in and day out. Day in and day out. He should just come out and say, folks, I'm going to keep coming on here at this time, every day, reminding you to go get your vaccinations and your boosters, and I'm not going to stop, I'm not going to get off your screens until you do so. And heck, have him come out and say he'll do it 2 or 3 times a day. Have him interrupt freaking programming to do it. I guarantee you he does that, people will be like, okay, enough, we'll do it. We'll shut you up. Just to shut you up, we'll do it. The fact is, ladies and gentlemen, this is getting to the borderline of ridiculous. Like I said, I'm not against people that do worry, that are concerned. Because again, we've been in a situation where everything's gone out, kaput, for, a long time, and we don't want to go there again. So yes, there is worry there. There is a fear that could happen, but it won't. It's not going to, because all these people are doing is they're just basically saying this. This is what the media is saying. This is what the CDC is saying. This is what, to an extent, Falsey is saying. And all these other people are saying. This is what they're saying. They're saying things like, well, we just discovered a new case of the emerged variant of the flu and COVID. Please get the vaccine. In this part of the state of such and such, get the booster. And we are trying our best to wrangle it in so it doesn't spread. That's what it is. They're telling you what's going on, but in between they're like, get the vaccine, get the booster, get the vaccine, get the booster. That's all they're saying. And there are some people, believe it or not, in Washington, even our president to an extent, believe it or not, that has been straight up and said, get the vaccine, get the booster, and we'll get out of this. But here's why I think people don't want to do it. It's not because they feel that this is nonsense, that this is about control, this is about fear-mongering and all that. No, it's not just that. It's the fact that these people are pissed still. These people are still pissed that their rights, their electoral rights, were stolen from them. That the person they feel should have been the president, should have retained his presidency, had it taken away. And they are so upset that even though they know to get out of this predicament, they should get the shot at least once. At least once. They're not going to do it until, Washington comes out and says, we impeach Biden and Harris and we reinstate Trump and, what's his name? The vice president. What was the vice president's name? I can't think of it right now. But basically, They probably won't do it until Trump gets reinstated. End of story. But Trump has even said to an extent, hey, I know you, and maybe he's not said it to this extent, but he said it to a point that, hey, I understand you're upset. I know you're angry, that I'm not in office, but I recommend, and I'm asking you guys to go out and get the vaccine and get the booster. Now, the silver lining is people that do support him have gone and done that. They have gone and done that because they're like, okay, if he's saying go and do it, we'll do it. Because they still feel he's the true president, not Biden. But to me, that's why a lot of these people don't want to get it. It's not because they feel, oh, there's something in there that's going to allow the government to trace us. No. It's the fact that they're upset that, Trump lost the election the way he did. And until he gets reinstated, until the vice president, let me see here if I can get it. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, Pence. They're not going to stop until Pence and Trump. Well, they're not going to do it. Not stop, but they're not going to do it until Trump or Pence is back in office. I guarantee you, if Trump and Pence were to run for presidency and vice presidency in 2024 and win and get back into the White House, that's when you'll see an increase of people getting the vaccine and the booster, because they'll be like, all is right with the world. Now we'll go get our vaccine and our booster. That's what it is. They don't like the idea that even though Biden, believe it or not, and it's a miracle, he's actually complimented and basically given credit where it's due of how this whole thing got rolled out. And even Trump, believe it or not, is actually giving credit to the Biden administration for getting it for continuously rolling it out and getting it going out and getting it out there. People, they are not, the people that don't want to get vaxxed, they're not going to do it until Trump and Pence are back in office. That's when I guarantee you, even though we'll probably be way out of it and to a point where masks won't be needed anymore, to an extent, people are not going to get that shot. You're not going to get that shot until Trump and Pence are back in office. Whether they get reinstated and by the fact that Biden and Harris get impeached by a possibly incoming Republican strongly led Congress and House, which are projected to take over starting with this year's mid elections and all that. Whether it happens that way or it happens through natural elections, in 2024, people are not going to do it. I mean, I'll say this. Over time, there will be those that will get the shots. My dad got COVID. He didn't believe in it. He got COVID. He got the shot. Now he realizes, okay, it's a real thing. So people, eventually are going to get it. They're going to get it, whether they want to acknowledge it or they don't. They're going to get it. That being the shots. Because they know eventually either something's going to happen to where they're going to end up getting the COVID themselves, or someone close to them is going to get it and be on, or be in a situation to where they'll probably survive it, but they'll be close to that borderline, if you know what I mean. And it's going to open their eyes. It really is. It's going to open their eyes. And, I know people don't want to hear that, but it's a fact. Because like I said, ever since Biden gave Trump's administration credit for starting it up and rolling it out, and Trump's given Biden's administration credit for continuously getting it out there and really, ramping it up to, get most of the people vaccinated and all that. Again, when he said he got his vaccine, he got his booster. Yeah, some people tried to derail him. I think, what was it, some kind of thing he had with somebody. They tried to derail him and he shut them down. And guess what? Ever since he said he got his booster, he got vaccinated and everything, there's been a lot of people that were unvaxxed and unboosted that have been doing it. And that's a fact. And like I said, over time, people will end up doing it because they're going to see it. They're going to see it, but I guarantee you, though, even though more will get the shot and get the booster over time, whether they want to admit it or not, there's going to be some that are going to say, no, we're not going to do it until Trump and Pence are back in office. That's the real reasoning. That right there, in my opinion, is the real reasoning. It's not because it's a conspiracy and they're using it. They have stuff in there that's gonna have them track us. No, that's not it. Because they're already tracking us. Believe it or not, cameras, phones, computers, they're already tracking us. They just don't show it because they know if they show it, it gets them in trouble. So they're already doing that. What it is mainly is people are pissed at the fact that Trump and Pence are not in office and not getting this shot, not getting this booster. Is no way of saying I'm not gonna get no shot of booster until Trump and Pence is back in office. That's what it is. And this is coming from a guy, like I said, that has gotten his vaccination twice, his booster, has voted for Trump, is a Republican, but I see what's going on. I see it. And like I said before, like I said when I got my second shot back in May of last year, like I said before, sooner or later, fines are going to get initiated. Fines are going to get issued. You think OSHA right now, is going to be a problem starting next week, and the government following suit a month later? You think they're going to be a problem? Problem by basically, handing out citations to companies with over 100 employees or such that have yet to get the vaccines or get the boosters? You think that's going to be a problem? Just imagine that the next announcement they make affects your wallet. Because if they know, because honestly, everybody knows if there's one place nobody, man or woman or child, teenager, wants to get hit the most, in this lifetime, they know if there's one place they don't want to get hit the most and hurt the most at, it's the wallet. So I guarantee you, if this OSHA thing doesn't, send a message, with the citations and everything, with the jobs and employers of 100 people or so, if that doesn't send a message, along with the follow-up on the 9th of next month, then I guarantee you, fines will be the next thing that will be announced and be issued out. Maybe not on a weekly basis, but a monthly basis. And you think anybody that's unvaccinated wants to have the wallet hit the most? Do you think they want to basically get a knock on their door and then open it up and then get handed a citation saying this is how much you owe for the month because you didn't get your vaccination or your booster? You think that's what they want? No. But that's where we're heading. That's where we're probably going to head. I mean, you already got Chicago, pretty much the mayor saying, hey, I'm putting out a mandate for everybody to get the vaccine, from what I understand. So you think it's going to stop in Chicago? No, it's going to continue. It's going to continue. And it's going to get to a point where fines will be the next step. Do you want that? I know I wouldn't. I know if I didn't get my shot, I know if I hadn't gotten my shot or my booster, I wouldn't want it. So what's the choice going to be? Is it inevitably going to be, you losing thousands of dollars a month? Because you don't want to get vaccinated and boosted? Or is it going to be like swallow your pride and be like, fine, I'll go get it. And go from there? What's it going to be? Or is it just going to be you guys coming out and just admitting the truth? You're mad. You're mad at Trump, mad at the fact that Trump and Pence are not in office. Is that it? Is that what it's going to take? I feel it is. Because again, this whole fear-mongering and everything, yeah, the media, the CDC, all of them, the government, they shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be scaring people into getting the vaccines. I admit that. They shouldn't be doing that. They should just be coming out and saying, before any special updates that they do, that being the CDC, the government, who, whatever, as well as before any news broadcast, they should just come out and say, before we start, we once again highly recommend you go out, for those that have yet to do it, we highly recommend you go out and get your vaccinations and your boosters, because the quicker that happens, or the more of you that do this, the quicker we get out of this whole situation. And that's it. That's all they have to do, and then they can move on to whatever else they want to talk about. That's it. That's it. Just start off by saying, we're reminding anybody that's unvaccinated or unboosted, please go out and get it, because the quicker you do, the quicker we get out. That's it. And then move on to whatever they're going to say. And leave it at that. Don't fearmonger. Don't do this, don't do that, because all you're doing by fearmongering people is you're basically pushing people more away from getting their shots, because they'll be more suspicious that something's up. Just come out at the beginning of your broadcast, the beginning of your updates, whatever, ask those that are unvaccinated and unboosted to go out and get them, because the quicker you get them, the quicker we get out. End of story. That's it. And just move on, like I said, to what you're going to say. And that's it. That's it. Enough of the fear-mongering. But let's also not look at it from... But let's not also... But here's the thing. Let's not put total the blame on them. We also got to look, like I said, at the people that don't want to get it. And we got to look at the fact that one of the main reasons, in my opinion, when I really think about it, is that they're upset that Pence and Trump are not in office anymore. And that the only way they're going to probably get it is either they get the COVID themselves, they have a friend or relative get the COVID that puts them in a situation to where they're on the borderline, if you know what I mean, like my dad potentially was. Thank God he's all right. You know, and it's woken him up. You know, or basically they're gonna wait until Trump and Pence are back in office in some shape, form, or capacity. Whether they're reinstated because of an impeachment of Biden and Harris, or they win the 2024 election. And that's it. That is it. And if that doesn't happen, and if that's not the case, again, you got the OSHA thing that's happening this upcoming week, and then continuing on through the government in February. You know, if that doesn't work with the citations to all the employers of 100 employees and such at the companies, then the next step is going to be fines, because they know what hurts you the most will be right here. And they know it. They know it. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Comment down below. Live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Check me out at my Teespring store. Also check me out at BW Rose's Discussions. All your favorite audio podcast locations. I should turn some lights on there. Like I said, on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. I am also close to 300 podcasts, guys. Also check me out at BW Roses. As I check something there for a second. Check me out at anchor.fm for the BW Roses Discussions. Listener support is activated there. And if you're listening to the podcast on places like Spotify and Amazon, if they have video podcasting enabled, you can listen and watch the podcast. You have a choice to do either one. Also check me out at BW Roses on VENMO. Also check me out at BW Roses on Patreon to support me with a $1 or $3 tier. I'm considering doing a $5 tier for Q&As in the future, but don't hold me to that. If it does happen, I will let you know. And also check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2. But again, guys, I'm just giving you my thoughts on why I think this is all happening now, why the media is trying to scare people into getting the vaccinations and the boosters, why I think some people why I believe the real reason behind people not wanting to get the vaccinations and the boosters and such, and where I think inevitably it's going to lead to if certain things don't work, like with OSHA and all them, and when I do think the unvaccinated and the unboosted will probably get them. Finally decide to get the shots. Either it's after they get it themselves, or someone close to them gets it and is on that borderline, or until Trump and Pence get back in office. That's a fact. That is the absolute fact in my opinion. But again, let me know what your thoughts are, and I am out. Talk to y'all later.